Corpbiz.
Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you all. This is Monisha with you from Corpbiz, and in this video we are going to talk about GST registration process in India. Let's take an overview of GST registration. With a view to abolish several other indirect taxes and to create a single taxation system, GST was introduced in India. Also, GST helps in the ease of collection and to enhance the efficiency of the process. GST registration is required for the businesses whose turnover gets over 40 lakh rupees for the sale of goods, 20 lakh in case of northeastern states, all hilly states for the sale of goods. There has been no change in the threshold limits for service providers. Persons providing services need to register if their aggregate turnover exceeds 20 lakhs for normal category and rupees 10 lakh for special category states. Imposition of GST registration through multiple stages. Also, for certain businesses, GST registration is mandatory, and if the entity or an individual carries on business without getting the GST registration, it will be treated as an offence under GST Act and heavy penalty will be levied. GST registration in an online process, and GST is imposed at every step of supply network to set off all the available tax benefits. Every product goes through multiple stages, which includes purchase of basic materials, manufacturing, wholesaling and retailing the products, and then the final sale to the consumer for consumption or usage. In a nutshell, every goods and services go through multiple stages, which includes purchase and manufacture of basic material, wholesaling and retailing the goods, and final sale to the consumer for the consumption. GST registration is required in the following cases: where the threshold limit of aggregate turnover exceeds. In case of certain businesses, compulsory registration is required. Voluntary registration. The GST is comprised in the final price of all the goods and services before its purchase. That eliminates all the indirect taxes that have been obligatory by the central government and the state government beforehand in India. So what are the benefits of GST registration? The advantages of GST registration can be enumerated like: it simplifies the taxation process. GST has combined a number of indirect taxes under one umbrella and integrated the Indian market. Reduction in the cost of products and services. With the introduction of the uniform system of GST, the cascading effect of a series of VAT and taxes has been erased, which has resulted in the reduction of cost of goods and services. It helps in avoiding lengthy taxation services. GST registration helps the small businesses in avoiding the lengthy taxation services, as the service providers with a turnover of less than 20 lakhs and goods provider with a turnover of less than 40 lakhs are exempt from paying the GST, aimed at reducing corruption and sales without receipts. GST was introduced with an aim of reducing the corruption and sales without receipts. Also, it helps in reducing the need for small companies to comply with various indirect taxes. It brings uniformity in the taxation process. GST registration brings uniformity in the taxation procedure and allows centralized registration. This helps the businesses to file the tax returns every quarter through an online process. GST registration minimizes tax evasion. With the introduction of GST, tax evasion is minimized to a great extent. Higher threshold for registration. Earlier in the VAT system, any business with a turnover of more than 5 lakh was liable to pay VAT in India. In addition, service tax was exempted for service providers with a turnover of less than 10 lakh. Under the GST regime, on the other hand, this threshold has been increased to 20 lakh, which exempts lot of small traders and service providers. Composition scheme for small businesses. Under GST, small business under turnover of 20 to 75 lakhs can benefit, as it gives an option to lower the taxes by using the composition scheme. This move has brought down the tax and compliance burden on many small businesses. Simple and easy online procedure. The complete process of GST from registration to filing of returns is done online, and it is super simple. This has been advantageous for startups mainly as they do not have to run from pillars to pillar to get diverse registrations such as VAT, excise and service tax. Compliances is lesser in number. Previously, there was VAT and service tax, each of which had its own returns and compliances. Under GST, on the other hand, there is just one unified return to be filed. Regulation of unorganized sector. In the pre-GST era, it was often observed that certain industries in India like building, construction and textiles were largely unorganized and unregulated. Under GST, however, there are provisions for online compliances and payments and for availing of input credit only when the supplier has accepted the amount. This has brought in accountability and regulation to these industries. Now let's take a look on what are the eligibility criteria for GST registration. So the eligibility criteria which are required to get registered under GST includes any business entity whose aggregate turnover in a financial year exceeds 40 lakhs and in special category states 20 lakhs. This clause does not apply if the entity is only dealing in the supply of goods and services which are exempt under GST. Every entity who is registered under an earlier law of taxation, that is excise, VAT, service tax, etc., needs to get registered under goods and service tax. Any entity or supplier dealing in interstate supply of goods, casual taxable person, a taxpayer under the reverse charge mechanism, input service distributor and its agent, e-commerce operator or aggregator, non-resident taxable person, agents of a supplier, a person who supplies through e-commerce aggregator, entities who are providing online information, acquiring database or retrieval services from a place located outside India to a person in India other than a registered taxable person. So what are the modes of GST in India? For GST administration, a model was designed when the government, central or state, have powers to impose and collect taxes through their respective legislations. The modes of GST are given as central GST. CGST is the tax imposed on the intrastate supplies of goods and services by the central government. When the place of the seller and buyer is in the same state, it is termed as an intrastate supply of goods or services. Here, a seller has to collect both CGST and SGST, in which CGST remains with the central government while SGST is collected by the state government. Next is the state's GST, which is SGST, is the tax levied on intrastate supplies of goods and services by the state government. Integrated GST is governed by IGST Act, where the seller has to collect IGST from the buyer and the tax collected will be divided into central and the state governments. Then comes Union Territory GST. UTGST is applicable when any goods and services are used in the Union Territories of India and the revenue is collected by the Government of Union Territory. So what are the constituents of GST? Registration number, obviously, legal name and constitution of business, trade name, period of validity, types of taxpayers, date of liability, signature of applicant comes under the ingredients of the GST. Now coming to the structure of 5 slabs under GST. So GST regimes were made by considering all the layman and inflation rate in mind. To make it simpler and easier, the GST was structured into the 4-tier structure. These 4 zones are given below, which are as follows. Number 1 is zero rates. Zero rate tax means the nil tax is to be applied on the goods or services. Then comes lower rate. Lower rate determines 5% tax rate, which is applied on the CPI, which is Consumer Price Index basket and mass consumption. Then comes standard rate. Standard rate includes 12% and 18% of the tax rates, and higher rates is the last category, which includes 28% of the tax rate under GST regulation. Coming to the documents required for GST registration, so the documents includes various types of documents required for GST registration, like for a sole proprietorship business, PAN card, Aadhaar card, photograph of the owner in maximum JPEG size of 100 KB, then bank account details, address proof. Then for a partnership form, PAN card of all the partners including managing partner and authorized signatory, then copy of the partnership deed, photograph of all the partners and authorized signatory will be required, address proof of the partners, that is passport, either driving license, voter's identity card or Aadhaar card will be required, Aadhaar card of authorized signatory will be required, proof of appointment of authorized signatory. Coming to LLP, then this registration certificate or board resolution of LLP, bank account details, address proof of principal place of business of LLP would be required. In case of a HUF, PAN card of the HUF and the passport size photograph of the Karta, ID and address proof of Karta and address proof of the place of business along with the bank details will be required. For a public or a private limited company, the PAN card of the company, then certificate of incorporation, MOA, AOA of the company, identity proof and address proof of all the directors and authorized signatory of the company, passport size photographs of all the directors and authorized signatories, as well as copy of the board resolution passed for appointment of the authorized signatory, details of bank account opening and address of the principal place of business would be notified in this case. So that was all about the documentation requirements in case of GST registration. Corpbiz procedure for GST registration is quite simple. Kindly utilize the steps as given on our website to integrate legally and securely a GST registration and get the benefits in the form of better quality sales and satisfied clients. Our Corpbiz experts will be at your disposal for assisting you with the guidance concerning GST registration and its compliance for the smooth functioning of your business in India. Corpbiz professionals will assist you in planning seamlessly at the least cost, confirming the successful conclusion of the entire process. It is advisable that an attorney with the taxation experience must be appointed to overwhelm many of the potential pitfalls that creep around within GST registration and to understand the requirement in detail. The elementary information would be mandatory from your end to start the process. The attorney will begin working on your request once all the information is provided and the payment is received. So why you should choose Corpbiz? Corpbiz is one of the platforms which coordinate to fulfill all your legal and financial requirements and connect you with the consistent professionals. Yes, our clients are pleased with our legal service. Because of our focus on simplifying legal requirements, they have consistently regarded us highly and providing regular updates. Our clients can also track at all the times the progress on our platform. If you have any questions about the GST registration process, our experienced representatives are just a phone call away. Corpbiz will ensure that your communication with the professionals is charming and seamless. So today, purchase a plan for expert assistance, add queries regarding GST registration, provide documents to Corpbiz experts, prepare application for GST registration, complete all admissibility criteria for preliminary screening, complete all the procedural actions, get your GST registration at your doorstep. For more concerns or questions on working of GST licenses in India as well as returns filing, kindly email us at info@corpbisadvisors.com or call on the numbers mentioned over the screen. Please like, share and do subscribe. Thank you.